On this week's episode, we discuss the Lakers' upcoming road trip, the unfortunate loss to the Los Angeles Clippers, and the LeBron and Jeanie drama. Again, here we go. Welcome back to the soap opera that is the Lakers lose, and then there's drama in the media. It's a well-played record that obviously all Laker fans are well used to. But I thought maybe that we might have turned a little bit of a corner last week. Won 2 games in a row, played some real defense, held the Raptors under 100, had the great comeback in Denver, holding them to 36 points in the second half. And you kind of thought like, oh, maybe they figured something out, right? Maybe JJ got out the whiteboard and devised something with that zone defense that was working, right? Everybody maybe kind of bought in a little bit and be like, all right, man, this works. Let's do it. Then kind of back to old hat, right? They face the Clippers. Clippers go up by 26 points. And the Lakers did make a very nice, valiant comeback, cut it to 2 very late in that game, but still ended up being a loss. And, it's difficult, obviously, to spot a team 26 points in the NBA and be able to come back and win, especially on the road, especially a Lakers team that is bottom in the league in defense and bottom in the league in shooting. So you're really testing yourself there when you're saying, you know what? We're a terrible shooting team and a terrible defensive team. Let's spot them 26 points and see if we can come back. So at the end of the day, it ends up being a loss, regardless of the triumphant comeback. Still ends up going down as an L. And it just makes me really feel like I don't think there is a overall quick fix to this season. I think that if you dissect the Lakers record, it looks good on paper, but when you break down their wins and losses and see the teams they've beaten, see the teams they've lost to, see how they've lost the majority of those games, obviously most of them by double figures, and you just start to feel like this team kind of is what it is. It isn't a team that is ready to win a championship. They don't have the depth. They don't have the size. They don't have the athleticism. They don't have the shooting. They don't have the defense. And regardless of how good Luka is or isn't on a nightly basis, or what you're getting out of LeBron on a nightly basis, there's just not, even when Austin Reeves returns, I just don't think there's enough here to beat an OKC or the Rockets or the Nuggets, or maybe even the Timberwolves in a 7-game series in the Western Conference Finals, especially when the Lakers will more than likely, not have home court advantage. And don't even get me started on the Spurs. All those teams have everything the Lakers lack. They have size, they have athleticism, and they have some shooting. And that all feeds into, the mess of what this Laker roster is. And it doesn't sound like the Lakers are going to do anything drastic. I think there's a lot of chatter about the Lakers not giving away assets right now because they want to rebuild around Luka. They want to have picks. They want to have cap space, which is all fine and dandy as long as Luka's on board. If Luka ain't on board, then we're wasting time to waste time. And I think there was a report out maybe earlier today or yesterday about the Lakers understanding the process, right? Similar to what Dallas did, right? It took Dallas a few years to figure out how to build around Luka. And Dallas tried different things, right? They tried Porzingis. They brought in different guys. They had Brunson, brought in Porzingis. They tried different guys to team them with, then Kyrie, but really that Dallas team was built exactly how you'd want any team around a star that doesn't necessarily play elite defense, which is most high-level stars in the league. You put rim protection, you put athletic wings and you put shooters. So they drive, they kick, they create for others, and those guys can hit shots. The Lakers don't have those components around Luka, and obviously that's part of the issue because Luka can still have a triple-double, drop 40-something points, and the Lakers can still lose by 15. And I don't think it has a lot to do with the future of LeBron. I think it has more to do with the Lakers just don't want to give up assets now, not knowing what they might be able to get in the offseason. And some of that is fair, but I also subscribe to the theory that you're going to need certain pieces. You're going to need role players that are better than what they have now. You're going to need wings. You're going to need athletic defenders. You're going to need a rim protector. So if you can get some of those guys now, what does it matter? If you could go get Michael Porter Jr. and Claxton, just hypothetically, if you think those are pieces that are going to work with Luka and you're going to need those type of pieces anyways, if you could find a way to get it right now, get it, and you're still going to have $50-something million of cap space when LeBron's lease is up at the end of the year, and you're going to have all that money to still be in the hunt of getting maybe a Giannis or a Jokic, which I know some people think is a pipe dream, right? We're holding on to a straw that maybe we're going to get one of those guys another year from now. But my point is you're still going to have the flexibility. I'm not saying you go out and you trade 4 first-round picks for Michael Porter Jr., but if you're talking about one pick or a pick swap, I don't know how much that's going to handcuff you a year from now if you really, really think you have a shot at getting a Giannis or a Jokic in a trade before they hit free agency, which, again, long shot. But I still think if you can get the pieces you need, maybe on the cheaper now, or in a way that works to get them in the building already so you don't have to fish for those pieces later. If you're going to have Luka and you're going to have Reeves, or you're going to have another big name star, whomever that may be, you're still going to need the pieces around them. You're still going to need the components around them, because the guys that we have now that are going to be gone, they don't fit the mold anyways. So what's the difference of getting a couple pieces now that fit the big picture puzzle later versus having to fill all these seats on the bus at one time, which may even be harder, right? It might be harder to get everything you need in one shot a year from now, or even this summer, versus getting a couple pieces now to tinker with that are going to be long-term pieces around the quote unquote core of this roster. And maybe, just maybe, it actually helps the Lakers win today, tomorrow, this year, and gives us a puncher's chance in a playoff series where right now, I just don't see it. I just don't see how this team, with guys like Gabe Vincent and Vando off the bench and bigs like Ayton and Hayes, who just can't consistently give the efforts they need offensively and defensively on a nightly basis, I don't see where it magically turns around or gets better unless you bring in maybe some pieces that can help now, and you're going to need them in the future. So I don't know. It's frustrating because I just don't see any major improvement with the way this current roster is, and I don't see JJ with some magic trick up his sleeve that's going to suddenly get these guys to play better defense or be more athletic or get DeAndre Ayton to rebound if he's not getting his offensive touches. There's so many pieces to the puzzle, and I just don't see how anybody in the locker room or coaching staff is going to make this work.
I'm curious, real quick.
Oh, what? Oh, got a voice? A voice from the crowd?
If you could, producers on the show for a split second. If you could make one trade at the deadline or multiple trades, whatever, if Rob could make the ideal situation that would, in your mind, give us a legit shot at making a run this postseason, what would that be?
I'd want a big and a wing. So ideally, I'd want something like Claxton or Robert Williams and Jonathan Kuminga or maybe Michael Porter Jr. I'd want an athletic big that can defend the paint, and I want an athletic wing that can also score a little bit.
This is why Anthony doesn't get anywhere half the time. Give me the trade. Don't give me this. I might want this guy and I might want that guy. And then on the other side, I might want this wing and I might want that.
Give me the trade. I'd either like, let's talk to Brooklyn about getting Claxton and Porter Jr. and they can just give them a list of guys. You can have
hold on. So Claxton,
Gabe, Vando,
Claxton and Porter Jr. And then that's the trade and we'll see what happens. That's what you're rolling with.
Yeah. Or like I said, I like Kuminga and Robert Williams. Now that obviously there are two different teams involved there, but I like getting that combination. Give me the wing and the big, either Claxton and Porter Jr. or Robert Williams and Kuminga. Because I
heard a rumor Kuminga got hurt. Did he get hurt?
I don't know. Like seriously hurt? I don't know. I didn't see seriously hurt, but I know they lost the other night in Dallas. But my point is, like I was making earlier, I think those would be pieces that would help us now, but they also could be pieces that you'd want on this roster over the next few years because they're good fits with Luka. You need a lob rim protecting big, and you need an athletic wing that can shoot when he's open. So I think if you could get those guys now, I don't think it's just like a stopgap Band-Aid. I think that you could make those pieces work long-term with Luka and or Reeves and or whatever other, name star or players you're going to bring in around them. Because certainly DeAndre Ayton's not the answer at center long-term. And all the rest of these guys off the bench, they're not the answer to the role players. Vando's not your athletic wing that can shoot the three. Gabe Vincent's not your, athletic wing that can shoot the three. So why not go get him now?
Yeah, Kuminga injured his knee landing awkwardly on Thursday night in Dallas. So they're waiting on an MRI on his knee and ankle. So maybe that's what you want. We can get him for the right price now, right?
Well, that's the Rob special, right? Now we could get him for that Disneyland pass. Let's go. That's the Rob special right there. Oh, he's hurt. Let me make the call. And I know we talked about this the other day. We put the video up about, the ESPN story with Jeanie and LeBron and Clutch and the drama, the dynamic there. And I just think it's obviously run its course. I think everybody knows that at the end of this season, whether LeBron decides to play another year or not, it's probably not going to be here with the Lakers. It's certainly not going to be for $50-something million anywhere at this point, just because it makes it really difficult for anybody to really add him to the core of their team if they want to win. But I think that it's pretty clear that ship has sailed. I think Clutch knows it. LeBron knows it. We've hitched our wagon to Luka. Whether that, works out or not, who knows? And to me, it doesn't even really matter. Like, if you want to even make the argument that, oh, you're hitching your wagon to Luka, but he's not the guy. He's not a Giannis or a Jokic. Like, he hasn't been able to prove that he can put a team on his back and win a championship. That's fair. But it still was a great deal because I don't look at it solely as we are throwing all our pieces into the Luka bucket. I look at it like we turned AD into Luka. So at the end of the day, no matter how you slice that up, it's a net gain. Even if Luka doesn't retire a Laker, you still turn Anthony Davis into Luka, whether that's for 3 years, 4 years, or 10 years. It's still a win in my book, regardless of how the history ends up playing out here in the long term. But, I know LeBron had his comments a little bit. They asked him about the story after the Clipper game. And, he didn't really provide an answer. He just kind of similar to Jeanie, just kind of disputed it. Like, I don't care. I don't listen to that stuff. I don't buy that stuff, blah, blah. There's always going to be a story and a rumor. I don't care, blah, 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 which is what you kind of expected him to say. Especially, we talked about this in the video we put up. the media has been very, very pro LeBron recently because he's been playing so well at age 41. He's the only player in the league to play 23 years. And he's doing a lot of good things that you wouldn't expect, because I don't think anybody expected him to even be on an NBA roster at 41 years old. But here he is, and he's still playing well to a certain degree, because he can't do everything that he could at 28 or even 38. But
yeah, you said spectacular on that video. You didn't say well. You said LeBron's playing spectacular for 41.
For a 41, yes. In my opinion, at 41 years old, anything he's doing is spectacular, because I don't think he should even be in the league realistically at 41 years old. How is that even possible?
Listen,
but of course there's flaws. He can't defend and do some of the things he used to. I know you guys get frustrated when you're watching the game and he like misses a layup. Like, how do you miss that layup? Because he's 41 years old.
I want him to be spectacular. I want him to be spectacular. I'm just saying.
I know. Well, you want him to be 28-year-old LeBron. I mean, come on. Even 27-year-old Luka misses layups. Yeah. Come on. Vando misses breakaway layups. He's like 25.
Just holding your feet to the fire, man.
So, I don't know. I just don't think that the way this season is going, I don't think the front office is going to invest in winning now. And I don't think this roster is capable of winning now. And as long as Luka is on board with it, then I guess it's okay. But you know me, I just don't like the idea of punting away on a season. Even though the Lakers stink defensively, they're still in the hunt. I mean, they're still right there. They still have an opportunity. And like I said, if you can make a trade that will help you now and in the future, why not? Why not give us a chance? Give us, a puncher's chance in a 7-game series, that if we play well and we're hitting our shots, that we can beat somebody. I brought this up a while back. I mean, the Pacers were a terrible defensive team last year, but they went all the way to the NBA Finals and took the Thunder 7 games and might have won it if Halliburton hadn't gotten hurt. They took the best team in the league, the poster child right now, the Thunder, that they do everything right. Their roster is built perfectly. That's how you win in the NBA. Look at their roster. Look what they're doing. They know they're the best. And the Pacers, with a terrible defensive team, took them to Game 7 of the NBA Finals, not because they were great defensively, but because they had athletic players. They bought in, they made shots, they got hot. So they got that puncher's chance, and they rode it all the way to Game 7 of the Finals. So I'm just saying, give us a chance and let's see what happens. Until then, the Lakers continue their road trip, and let's see how many losses they come back with. All right. Well, that wraps up this week's episode. As always, we thank you for listening. Please hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Give us the comments and the feedback. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next week.
Out of Stats Podcast.